Welcome to listen to Storm Talks at St. John's University. My name is Minna Aslama Horowitz. I teach Intro to Mass Communication and International Communication. I wanted to talk to you about something that I personally find extremely important. We all live these digital lives, and that's why I wanted us to be here at the computer lab at Sullivan Hall today. More and more our lives are run by these gadgets. I wanted to ask you, how much time do you spend online and on your mobile devices by day?
You mean social sites or online generally?
In general.
I'll say up to 4 hours online. You know, it's encroaching on my TV time. 4 hours.
4 hours online. And what do you do?
Twitter, #1. A little Facebook, Google, Wikipedia, basically.
Do you sleep with your phone?
Oh yeah, right next to my pillow.
There we go. And you're one of the 70% of people in America who do that. Think about that. We study by a blackboard, and our relationships become really real when we change our status on Facebook. We apply for jobs online, we apply for schools online, we form friendships as well as alliances online. We can even be activists and active online. But have we ever thought about how that affects a very fundamental part of our existence, our human rights? Most of us know about the Universal Declaration of Human Rights by the United Nations. That was drafted almost 60 years ago. And it includes the right to education, right to freedom of expression, and that all us as humans are equal. And we all, I think, agree upon those, and we enjoy those rights daily. But think about what these devices have done to us. Think about, for instance, the very basic idea of censorship or freedom of speech, freedom of expression, First Amendment. You know what happened during the Arab Spring. Probably none of us will forget the year 2011 and the incredible movements and freedom movements and movements of democracy. At the same time, I'm sure you've heard about that Twitter will agree to country-specific censorship if a country so wants. And for instance, China and Thailand have agreed to that. The most open platform, the Twitter and other social media sites, Google's blogging sites, are thinking about the similar censorship. And should we in fact censor? Think about flaming, think about hate speech that is alive and well and sometimes even explosive online and in mobile media. Should we control that? That's a big question that a lot of us face today and debate today. Another human right that is already mentioned by the UN, but has become very explosive and important to us, is the right to intellectual property, the copyright. It used to be that if you were a musician or an author or a filmmaker, you automatically had rights to what you produced. Now, I think most of us are very comfortable in sharing video clips or music or text or pictures online without even thinking about it twice. Remember when Wikipedia went black and when Google wouldn't work for a day on the 18th of January? They were protesting against copyrights that would have limited our ways of sharing content online. But how, if you're a filmmaker or a musician, how will you make money in the future? So that is another big debate and relates to our rights. The third right that all of us, I'm sure, are concerned about is the right to privacy. I just read recently, must be yesterday, actually on somebody's Facebook page, about the fact that companies are now asking job applicants to share their Facebook passwords with them. Would you be all right with that? Is it something that you would give access to, your Facebook site, to anybody. Is Facebook or Twitter a public form of communication that we should be accountable for, or is it kind of private just for us and for our friends and our intellectual, artistic rights? Those are the rights that have been talked about before, and our digital world has given it another spin, or sort of, and brought up new problems. But there are two kinds of rights that are brand new, and that actually the United Nations, as well as many countries, have now seriously begun to talk about, and that I think we all should be aware of. What is the question of access? You might have heard about the question of digital divide, that the rich north and western countries, they have all the technology, and the global south is on the other side of that divide. But access to communication, even in this country, is not self-evident. You need a good internet access to find out information about the government or apply for a job, even at Walmart or McDonald's. What if you don't have proper access? So even such a simple question as broadband access has been declared as a human right in a handful of countries, and actually the United Nations said that it will be a goal, and should be a goal as a human right to all of its member states as well. And then an issue that I never even thought about before I read about this 2 months ago, which is that the European Union has proposed a law that would make us be able to demand the right to be forgotten. The right to be forgotten. And actually the EU is now negotiating with Google so that Google would promise to erase our searches if we erase them. Because whatever we delete at the moment, whether it's Facebook profile picture or it's our recent searches online, we still leave a digital footprint that somebody could retrieve. Do we want that? Do we want to be able to retrieve information, or do we want somebody else to find out information that we posted yesterday on Facebook 30 years from now? So the right to be forgotten is actually a very important right for us, and goes hand in hand with privacy. So we have these 5 important digital issues or digital rights: censorship, privacy, access, right to be forgotten, and our intellectual property rights. And people, policymakers, politicians, activists, media makers, all of us, we're debating this constantly. What I want to hear from you all now is, what of these rights is the most important to you? What do you encounter most in your everyday life? What is the right that you really want to, or should think that we all should protect the most? What do you think?
As an online activist for social justice and arms control, I'll say the most important is access, versus the least then will be censorship. Because when you look at countries, the oppressive regimes of China and North Korea, many African countries, many of them look at the Arab Spring and think, oh, we don't want this happening in our countries, and censorship will help limit it. So I think access will give each citizen of all these countries power, will give them some kind of control. So access is important for democracy or human rights all over the world.
An excellent answer that really showed us how controversial and many-sided these issues are. But I'm looking for your answers.